breaking the cycle when therapy sends you to us, marriage questions that you secretly ask, and what do they mean? Why couples therapy fail and what actually works. Labeling your partner, and I'm gonna go with narcissist. Triggers versus cognitive distortions, guys. Ooh, this might trigger you and put you into your own distortion. Answer the question, the myth about happy wife, happy life, and why it's destroying marriages. Breaking the cycle when therapy sends you to us. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage Podcast, guys. And it's not uncommon, you've heard us talk about this before, but often therapists join our programs, therapists love our work, they reach out, they want to know more, they want a conversation, and often therapists will hear of what we're learning. Say, if you're talking to your therapist about learning from us, and they'll be like, oh damn. And a lot of times therapists will do what one did today, speaking with Kathryn's team, and it was, you should go work with them. And this is pretty cool because, first of all, I think, wow, what an honor. You know?
It was super cool. And, you know, we found out because I said, why are you here? Why are we having this conversation? Tell me a little bit about what you saw. And she said, well, I didn't actually. My therapist saw you and thought that I should talk to you. And I'm not actually married. And so I said, okay, well, we work with not married people. Tell me about what's going on in your relationship. And she said, no, I'm not in a relationship. The problem with me is that my therapist thinks that I need to break the cycle, start choosing different men, get stronger in who I am, and that you're the person to show me that. So I thought that was really cool because she's already in therapy with a therapist, and the therapist is saying, these are the people that you need to go learn from. So whoever that is, thank you. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And you know, it's, I think it's cool. I think we all know that there's a time and place for some therapy, and not for every person. I know Kathryn loves a lot more modalities than I do. And, you know, I've been bad. Sometimes I'm like, that's bullshit. And I've had to.
And I'm like, that's what we teach,
I've had
honey.
So,
easy with the words.
But what I think is really, really important is this break the cycle topic, okay? That's just inherently what we're doing when we're saving a relationship. And I love that this woman had the courage to say, you know, I'm not in a relationship, but I want to be whole. If you got to understand, if you're breaking any cycle, you got to realize that that comes with you. You know, you'll hear people talk about you being the common denominator. I talked to 3 guys in 2 days. All of them, all were on their 3rd marriage. Okay.
That would be the same for this woman when she gets into her next marriage. She's had 2 failed marriages, a string of unhealthy relationships, and recognizes that when she does it again for permanent, not just a boyfriend, but because she doesn't have a boyfriend right now, but when she finds her next husband, she wants it to be the one, not the 3.
That's right. And you have to understand, so even if you've only been in one marriage, let's look at statistics first, okay? 54% first marriage divorce rate right now, okay? Actually, I think we're speculating it's gonna be 56 soon, okay? Because it's always climbing. And then second, 64, and I'm pretty darn sure it's 71 or 78. I can't remember for third, okay? I always just say it's 75, because if you're getting divorced once, you can basically assume you're probably going to repeat your cycle and you're going to get divorced again. Now, here's the thing about that. It's because even if you've only been married once, go back to like whoever you dated. Go back to other relationships. Think about how you treat your children. Think about the feelings that you're feeling and the behaviors you display, okay? If you don't do the work on you, then the chances of you actually having a healthy marriage are pretty fucking slim. Pretty slim, okay? Because now you were 2 broken people when you got together. Both of you are broken. Like there's very few at least tampered with motherfuckers, okay?
Tampered with.
Yeah. And then you have this baggage with the person you thought you spend the rest of your life with. So if that baggage doesn't make you like feel destroyed, it's not about finding someone who gets you, who understands more. I mean, the amount of people that will talk about all the crap that they're missing and what they deserve, right? We ask always one of the first questions is like, okay, what do you love about your partner? And they dive into all the stuff that's broken in their partner, right?
Well, that's why people go into second marriages without doing any work, because they think, speaking from the woman's point of view, my husband did this, it's my husband's fault. Well,
My
then
husband
why?
was a narcissist.
Well, then
Right.
why in the second marriage why does the same thing happen? What's the common denominator there? So if you are not in a marriage like this lady, but wants to be in a marriage and is recognizing, whether it's through her therapist and her own self-reflection or a combination, she's recognizing, I know that I'm making bad decisions. I know that she admitted to being really reactive. And so even though she's marrying men who are explosive and the men that she's been with have been abusive, She's recognizing that she's reacting to them in a way that's not allowing her to grow, him to grow, them to grow, and it's actually creating a divide. And she just doesn't want to live like that anymore. She wants to be in a healthy marriage, and she knows that if she were to make the decision today without doing the work that she believes that we teach, because she doesn't know exactly what we teach yet. She's going to find out when she starts going through the program. But if she makes the decision to date a guy today, she's not whole herself yet. She's not healed. She doesn't know how to not react. She doesn't know how to not fight. She doesn't know how to not enable poor behavior. She doesn't know how to look for red flags, even on a first date. She doesn't know any of that, but she's recognizing that this is what I want to learn because she wants something permanent in the future, and she doesn't want to be single. She's enjoying being single because she's not being abused, but she wants that connection with a man in her life. And she knows that if she doesn't fix the things within herself, that cycle is going to repeat. And probably, we always say it's not repeat the cycle. It snowballs. That means it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you don't stop it and melt it, it's going to keep getting bigger.
You know, we see this stuff all the time. Like I know this might come as a shock to you, but some people quit the fucking program, right? And I always say you have a 100% success rate if you don't fucking quit. I mean, we would be no exception. Like, even if we said the worst things to each other, we fucking know we're not quitters. We know who we are. That's one thing that unites us. And it wasn't always that way, by the way. I mean, lots of times, one of us did want to walk out and quit. One of us did take steps.
We actually did walk out and quit multiple times, but we always came back.
That's right. And this is really important to understand, because let's say I have a man who quits the program. I talk about this all the time to be proactive with the men in the program. And I'll talk about how the man, like I teach this nice guy triangle, as you know, right? The man displays these behaviors of needing approval and how he's manipulating and controlling, but he doesn't know it. The covert contract, I'm not gonna go into that lesson today, but that man, we know, we can tell with reality checks, with the way that you use the program, we know if you've changed, grown, or not, okay? And the next step would be to start questioning you on your belief in the new person, your faith in you, because you should not be relying on hope by the time you've grown. And then the next thing is you prove us fucking right and that you were wrong, because we hear about the next relationship, because you always have something to say. You cannot wait to tell somebody, a man in the community, one of our coaches, or texting us, you can't wait to tell us about this wonderful, wonderful person. Lo and behold, that guy was doing that business program. Boom, the one that got away, who's not crazy.
Goodness.
Fucking, psh, yeah, right, man. Because you didn't do the work. And this is crazy, because that fucker is teaching you, not you, but people using a program based off of AI in a belief he knows what he's doing, where he literally said, I know all about red flags. I dated the crazy for so long. And he's even using AI to respond to his customers. This is terrible, you guys. Terrible. You can't use a program, read a book, do whatever, and just assume change.
No, you have to actually do the work.
That's
and
right.
not quit. Break the cycle. Stop doing the same things that you were doing and start doing something differently. But you have to do it differently consistently.
Yes.
Because it's really easy to go back to the normal you. I'll even say, so you guys, if you guys have been watching the podcast, my biggest thing that I had to work on was defensiveness. And when I'm defensive, I'm very contemptuous. I told somebody that this morning on a coaching call.
Did you?
Yes, and contempt is the leading cause of divorce. So if you're not defensive, let's say 98% of the time you're not defensive, but you are defensive 2% of the time, and you're highly contemptuous in that 2%, it's going to get worse. And so all of that to say, that's what I had to work on the most. That will easily crawl back in if I'm not 100% aware. Naturally, I'm going to get defensive. So that's why I'm saying you have to break the cycle, but then you have to do it consistently. You have to practice it. You have to have an awareness. You have to have reality checks. You have to have all of it, because otherwise you go back to your normal nature, your normal attachment styles, which you don't really like that.
I hate them.
But you go back to the way that you were, let's call it programming. You go back to your programming, because that's
what you know.
It's like,
what's familiar.
Relate it to diet for a second. So years ago, one of the buzzwords was set point. And basically what that means is that your body has a weight that it wants to be. That's why when you lose 10 pounds and you're not consistent 10 pounds later, the 10 pounds creeps back on. It's just, and it happens with weight gain as well. You have a set point. Now it's harder to lose it after you've gained it. Your body wants to keep it. It's easier to set a new set point higher than it is lower. But your body wants to be, if your body wants to be 150 pounds and you drop to 130 pounds, what happens 3, 4 months, 6 months, a year later? You're 150 pounds again. Why? Because you got complacent. You went back to eating the things that you're used to.
So glad you were saying
all of the things that you thought were, that you got comfortable with, oh, I can have a donut, or oh, I can eat McDonald's, or oh, I can do this. And you don't notice the ounces that are piling back on. But by the time it's 20 pounds, you see it again.
And it happens the same thing when you guys are trying to make more money, right? You get comfortable. I deserve a break. Like, I deserve a cheat meal. When's the last time you had a fucking healthy meal when you're eating like shit, saying it was a cheat? Okay? Like, we get comfortable.
Cheat on my bad diet.
Yeah. You get comfortable and complacent because it's familiar and it's easy. That is not where confidence is built. That is not where skill is built. That's not where independence is built, growth. Any of the qualities that you want when you look at somebody and say, I fucking want that. If you want to break a cycle, you got to get unfucking comfortable. And you touched on something that I really don't want to miss here. That is, you start to revert back to behaviors, or the behaviors that you think are the opposite. Listen, the opposite of fucking crazy doesn't mean crazy on the other end. Meaning, if I was raised every single day by my parents to, like, watching them scream, being screamed at, name calling, all the fucking bullshit, okay, to not name call, not screaming, all that, if you've heard that part of our journey, that's why that didn't really do anything. That took us from the bottom of a hole to ground level, where she's like, that's great. You were never supposed to fucking yell at me, right? And so one of the things that you have to be aware of when you're breaking a cycle is, don't just say, well, my daddy was an alcoholic, so I'm not gonna drink. That might not actually work for you. Like, you might need to be social, but buckle it up to one. I don't fucking know. But you got to stop saying this is going to work because that didn't work, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take the extra step.
Take the extra step. I talked to a man on a call today. He was really trying to dive into leadership. He's loving my content on leadership and identity. And, you know, there's something that you need to know. We talked about leadership earlier, and starting with gratitude and giving, okay? But leadership isn't like something that without the consistency that Kathryn was talking about, you know, that's a massive cycle that people are trying to break right now. And it's fucking hard to break into your leadership, right? You challenged me lots, right? It's difficult to understand because you'll start to try to build yourself up, and then you have some of the resentment that she talked about, right? If you want to break a cycle, it has to first start with, what do you want? And then what would that person do? Right? Chapter 1, chapter 2.
What do you want and what would that person do? Not what would you do? What do you want and what would the person who you want to be, what would that person do?
That's right. Chapter 1 versus chapter 2. Make it black or white. That's something I just learned from one of my coaches that I have right now. And I found the exercise very difficult because I was like, I'm so much of this new guy already. Like, and anyway, so we went deeper and deeper. But the whole point is, like, you know, what do we call it? The prick list, I called it, when he said, write down everything that's all the things that you hate, the things that you don't like.
About yourself.
About yourself. And I called it the prick list. We talked about it recently, but the whole point is, it's black or white. I'm either chapter 1 or I'm chapter 2. I'm either the old me or the new me. That's it. Does that mean you will fail sometimes? Yes. Stop being afraid to fail forward. Fear is your fuel. Okay? I'm terrified to lose Kathryn. I am. But I also know that I have to stand in a different emotion. I can't let that emotion out, right? I don't have to be afraid I'm going to lose Kathryn. That's who I am. I have to process that shit for chapter 2, man. Not be insecure, for example, right?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
No.
No? All right. You guys, morrowmarriage.com/anniversary. Let's talk in person. Let's actually go for it, man. People are now joining the program and getting into the event. I think I just heard that happen.
Amazing.
Like, that is cool. That is somebody who wants to break the fucking cycle right there. That is dedication. I love it, guys. See you next time.
Bye.